Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome. I had a little bit of problem getting into the room. I had to leave the back space and leave the studio so that I get back on. I don't know what I did wrong, but I waited for the ad. The ad you heard was from my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, and I hope you follow up on it. It's this Saturday. He has a Zoom question answer session. He's cordially invited all of you. He had two web links. One is about the Skool, about how to join the Skool, and the other one is the Zoom meeting web link. If you go to the Zoom web link and you're a member, you get in there free. So those two websites are available for you. If you forgot or didn't write them down, I'll repost the ad at the end of my podcast. So I'm glad you found me. I'm in the podcast called Fight CPS with Bob Pace and Hang On to Your Children. I don't know how can I impress upon you that you're in the most worst place you can imagine. I've been there. I too have been in CPS, and so I have a wealth of information for you. There are several ways to interact with this podcast, or four ways. The first way is just by being in the room. You found me, and one of the other groups there, I have like 9 groups you can come in on me, and which is great. And just listen, take notes. You can use emojis. That's a thumbs up, a heart, a smiley face, or you send me stars. And then below, please check that you'd like to subscribe, and also if you want to be notified of my upcoming shows. Now, I'm on 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and come on in the evening at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. They're 1 hour shows. Now, there's exceptions for that. Every Friday for this month of October and December is Friday Night Lights with high school football. And so I'm at the football game at 7 o'clock. So on Friday, I start my show at 4 o'clock to 5. So I welcome you all to come there. I'll be a couple hours earlier. On Sunday, I go to church. So I start my show at 8 o'clock instead of 10. So I'm a couple hours early so I can go to church. But anyway, I hope you can find one of my 14 shows that you like to listen or participate in. A second way of interacting with this podcast is that maybe you would like to write something. Maybe you like to text me a message, either about a comment about CPS or maybe you have a question about CPS. Now, when you make these comments, it's very important that you pertain it to CPS. We want to talk about CPS, and CPS is the Child Protection System, is what I call it. It's a branch of social services. It's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse, also help out families in need for food, shelter, clothing, education for the children, medical, and a job. And there you need to ask for that. Also, they do if they take your children or break your family up because of imminent danger, which a lot of time lately they're taking your child no if there's not imminent danger, and you can they do family reunification. That's where they put the family together because they found out that the best parents are the biological parents. So all I ask you is to put your first name, the city or county, and the state. Now, if you're from outside the USA, please list your city, province, or state and country. And try to be complete with your CPS case. I have right now about 14 countries I've texted in. I'm open to all CPS cases. And so I'm here to help you. And it's interesting how other people are fighting CPS in other parts of the world. They're very similar issues, it seems to be. Now, the also try to be complete with your CPS case when you first text, like what's your family makeup, what's the ages and sexes of your children, and then what were the allegations, and how were they taken? That's important to know. And then what step are you in your case? Are you at your dependency hearing? Are you at halfway through or at the end? So if you can be complete with your case, that'd be great. Now, the next way to interact with my podcast is to be scheduled as a guest. You can email our show producer. Her name is Grace. She works hard behind the scenes. And you can just email her email address. It's grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will listen to what you have said in your email. You just pick one of those 14 shows. I've already told you the times. You can just say morning or evening, and Sunday through Monday. It's 7 days a week, so you can say that too. So you just email her at grace@vincentwdavis.com, and she'll send you a link. Now, the link she sends you will be a link that will help you get on the StreamYard application, which I use to broadcast on YouTube. And I can have up to 9 guests, including me, as 10 windows on the screen at one time. And I do want to welcome a lot of you that are coming in from the different rooms. I have right now 3 of you that have come from different rooms. I also have other people in my room too. So I want to welcome you all to my podcast. And also, she'll tell you how to be a guest. We don't allow food or eating on the show, and we don't use the names of children, judges, or social workers. Now, a fourth way to talk about my podcast or interact with my podcast is a call in to my office number. My office number is 626-698-0990. I'll leave that up, and you can see that. So that is my office number. It goes directly to my phone. I use Vonage application on my phone, so please call in, but only call in during the show hours. I did not answer the phone before my show or after my show. So those are the 4 ways. Just being in the room, just also hi Lori Hiller and Ruth Garcia. So my phone number is live, and so you can just be in the room, make a comment, or sign up as a guest, or call in. Now, I have lots of ways I can go with my podcast. I can talk about the social workers, what kind of individuals they are. I can talk about the child protection system, the CPS. I can also talk about my case and things that went wrong in my case. And then also I have 5 rules I put together that will help you. And then I have lots of topics opened up that we can talk about, like ICWA, which is the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, a 388 motion, a 160 JV motion, how to complain to CPS at the local, state, and federal levels. Steps that you need in adoption and what adoption is. There's a lot of resources I have. Also, I have Coors Digest, which is an application I subscribe to that talks about CPS cases. There's questions asked, and then people try to answer the questions. Some of the people are social workers, some are just lay people, some are professionals in another field. But it's quite interesting. So this room is pretty much the way you like to go. Now, there's been several comments made in this room about things that are coming up. One of the websites you may want to look at is the one that is called the Skool. It's the https://www.skool.com. Sign up for the Skool. It's well worth it because there's a lot of things that can help you and stuff there. Now, each room that comes up there will repeat it again. So a lot of you will see it on your screen. So I was talking last night about a single mom in West Hollywood, and she had a very complex case, and we're almost finished with it. But I noticed that the area that she's dealing in is mental illness. Now, a lot of you will find out that when allegations are made, sometimes someone says that you're crazy. Well, what that does when you dial 911, it triggers the LA sheriff to come out, and they will arrest you if they think you're crazy. It's sad, but it really messed up this one mom last night, Natalie, because she was held up in the hospital for 72 hours, and she wasn't crazy. They just misunderstood her. So that was a hard thing to deal with for her, because it's a nightmare. They lost her keys to her house. She was in the hospital. The doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her. But I guess because she said certain things, or she has maybe special needs, they took it wrong. And the LA County Sheriffs of LA, they arrested her, but never read her rights, never said she was charged with anything, and transport her. It's against the law to be transported in a police vehicle unless you're under arrest. And if you get arrested, they're supposed to read your rights. They're supposed to say what you're charged with. But apparently, in a lot of cases across the country, parents are being arrested needlessly. And also the police sometimes are out with the social workers, and they muscle their way into the house. Now, you're not supposed to go into the house unless they get permission to go in the house. That goes for both social workers and policemen. And they can't enter the home if domestic violence is going on or is imminent danger to the children, such as an argument. People think arguments are okay in front of children. No, it's not okay. That hurts the child to see both parents arguing. So if you're going to argue, you need to take a walk, take a time out, and then talk about it in 5 minutes, someplace away from the children. Don't have your children around when you're arguing. And sometimes arguments will lead to domestic violence, where one person will grab a weapon and use it against the other person, whether it's their fists, a knife, or a gun. And if that is going on at the house when the police and the social workers arrive, they will go into the house. They have a right to do so. The third way is that they can enter your house or talk to you as if they have a warrant. You don't have to talk to social workers. You don't have to say anything to them. My best advice is to not answer the door. There's been a lot of people killed lately by answering the door needlessly. There was a black Air Force man of 23 in Gainesville, Florida, not in the May 3rd, but he's only 23 years old. And he was shot point blank 5 times. You can look it up. The policeman's being charged, but he's not alive. He died on FaceTime talking to his girlfriend. They had a mistaken place. They were searching for domestic violence. Another one was a woman who's arguing with a sheriff in the house who had a deputy with him, and he took out his gun and point blank shot her in the face 5 times. Bullets kill, guns kill. Policemen are doing it all the time, and it seems like they're picking on certain kinds of individuals. There was a lady that was crazy. She's from an Asian lady, but she was killed by 2 policemen, all because she answered the door. So when the door knocks or rings, don't answer the door. And if it's important, whoever's knocking will leave something for you. We'll leave something for you, like a business card or a note or something. Also, they may come back. If they come back, you may have to answer the door. You can't keep ignoring it. But hopefully they leave something that they were by. Also, you don't need to talk to them. Even if you answer the door, you can tell them very nicely, if this is regarding a legal matter, I need to have my attorney present. We need to schedule this another time. And you want to schedule it at a neutral place, like Starbucks, like one of the fast food places, McDonald's or something like that. You don't want to go to their office, and you definitely don't want to let them in your home, because they will, when they come out to investigate, they're fishing, looking for something they can hold against you. And if your house is a mess or you left stuff around, they will eye on it and make it a big scene that you're endangering your kids. So my advice is, don't answer the door. And if you do, try to schedule an appointment with them at another time. You don't have to turn over the children. I mentioned a warrant earlier. Now, a warrant is a piece of paper, a real piece of paper, not a copy, not a PDF file, not something you look on the computer. And that is a warrant. It'll say our court notice or warrant at the top, and then it'll list the person that they're investigating, or persons, because it could be a husband, wife, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, or partners or whatever there. So this is going to further have the children's names and what the allegations are. It's further going to state the address that they can come to and the date and time they're supposed to do this. There's a specific date and time they must have on the warrant. Also, the warrant has to list what they can do and not do. Like maybe it says you can talk to them or show them your house, or heaven forbid, give up your children. Now, you're not supposed to give up your children unless it's in a warrant. You're not supposed to talk to them unless it's in a warrant. And by the way, that warrant must be signed by a judge. And that judge's wet signature must be on the warrant. It's raised, and it's a wet signature. The clerk will use a hand stamp that raises the signature. That makes it legit. Also, if the dates are on a weekend or a holiday, courts are not open, so it's a fake document. They are very, sadly to say, use fake documents. They also lie. They'll say, I have a warrant out in the car, or I have a warrant back in my office, like that. Unless they have a true warrant, you don't have to let them in or give them your children or talk to them. And the best way, I say, is try to schedule an appointment. If you're going to go see a doctor, you're not going to drop in on them. You're going to schedule an appointment. CPS is the same way. You schedule an appointment. But it's not safe at their office, and they're not safe at your home. So you need a neutral place because they're very corrupt. CPS is not your friend. They're supposed to protect children from neglect and abuse, but they take your children automatically, whether they're in imminent danger or not. It's all centered around money. CPS is a money-making business, and they want to get money from you. And how they do so is open a case and contact the state. They get a number and open your case. And in my case, in Orange County, they were getting $20,000 per child per month. I had 3 children that were trafficked into foster care, stolen illegally, and that was $60,000. And so if you had 100 families with 3 children each, that's $6 million. That's a lot of money. It's $1 trillion business. They make trillions of dollars. They give incentives and bonuses to the workers. I know, again, from firsthand experience. My social worker was in her young 20s. She didn't have a high school degree. She didn't have a college degree. She didn't have a license. She never mentored with any. She had very little training, but here she is. She got my life in her hands. And how it happened to me, it was allegations by lay people. There are 2 kinds of individuals that'll make allegations. Your professionals and your lay people. Now, the professionals learn about child abuse, how to recognize it, how to report it. They're your doctors and they're your nurses. They're your healthcare professionals. They're your teachers, principals, people that are involved with children. They're required by law to report any abuse or neglect. Now, the other person is the people that we seem to have a lot of problem with. They're lay people. When a lay person calls in, we don't know if it's true or not. And again, that can be also true about a professional. That's why you have investigation. The only sad part is when someone makes an allegation, whether lay people or professional, they're automatically guilty. It's the only court or criminal court where you're guilty before you're proven innocent. Where any other case of law, you're innocent to your proven you're guilty before you have to be proven that you're innocent. So with that being said, you got some people that use CPS for their own gain. It could be people that have a trouble with your neighbor. Maybe the yard doesn't work very well. And they don't like the way you have your bushes or whatever trimmed. And so what they do is they call in with a fake story. My case was like that. I did not know for many years that my in-laws, who were my wife's mother and father, 3 sisters and brothers, were calling in once a week from Ohio to complain that my wife and I, were not taking care of our children. Now, unfortunately, I lost my job in 2010 at the age 60 through no fault of my own. At that time, my in-laws decided that they wanted our children because they thought we couldn't take care of them. These are the same people that didn't come to our wedding. I've been married for 32 years, and I have 6 children. I love my children. I'm a family man, but they didn't come to our wedding. Even one of them was living in California, didn't show up. They never thought too much of me or what her daughter chose. So, with that being said, they were determined to get our children, our 3 young children. We have 2 groups, the older children and the young children. The older children in their 30s and 40s, the young ones are still in their teens or early 20s. And the older children had moved out anyway. The last one left at 25, which was a year before CPS finally came out and took my children that weren't in imminent danger. That's the sad part about how it all works. For 5 years, I showed them. I even had them in my home. And all the things that they saw, there was nothing they could find. I talked to them in the street light. I was very proactive. I should not have talked to them, but I did that for 5 years. Then they got a detective to track me down to see where I go. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Is Bob Pace available?
Yes, you're speaking to Bob Pace. And who am I speaking to?
Hi, Bob. My name's Israel Gagney. I'm calling from Maine.
You're Israel Gani?
Gagney, G-A-G-N-E,
Okay, Gani. And where are you calling from?
Maine,
Maine. What part? What city or county in Maine?
Kennebec County, Maine.
Okay. All right. Welcome. And what can I do for you?
I was looking online about people's civil rights and stuff with CPS and Child Protective Services and things like that. And, it showed that you kind of like know your rights about things like that and civil rights and kind of like advocate or something like that. And I just didn't know. It said if anybody wanted to contact you about free consultation to get in touch with you, and so that's what I'm trying to do.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, I was just talking about lay people making false allegations against me, and this went on for 5 years till they finally stole my children. And the false allegations are always for alternative motives, as revenge against a neighbor, or maybe they don't like your dog barking, or they'll make up crazy stories. And what happens is because it's an allegation, the child protection system believes it's true, and they're going to come out within 24 hours. You're guilty when they come out to see you. The trouble is how you respond to them, because you have civil and constitutional rights. You have a right to have an attorney present at all times through the investigation. So as I explained,
and that's what I've been trying to tell DHS, and they won't stop.
Well, here's the problem. You need to get that attorney involved. That's the biggest problem there, because they're going to look at you as you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to take advantage of the situation. And
they tried today.
Yeah, the best way to do it is tell them is that I'll schedule a time to see you, but I need my attorney present. Can you give me a call? And we can find out a time to meet. I don't want to meet at your office or my home. I want to meet. They're going to try to go to your home because they're fishing. They may have something.
They've already been and done that.
Okay, well, you've opened up your home, and then anything in there they'll use against you, and anything you said to them, they will use against you. Because the only way they get into your home is if you give them permission.
Well, listen, I told them that we had an attorney for 10 years, same attorney. Okay? 40 grand.
Okay.
I wasn't here, I was at work. They threatened my girlfriend and told her if she didn't have them come, that they were going to take our kids. Okay?
Did they tell your girlfriend the allegations?
Yes.
What were the allegations?
Huh?
What were the allegations?
It wasn't the allegations. She was in a car accident. All right? She wasn't charged for anything, OUI, under the influence of anything. But that's what they're trying to say. Okay? She wasn't under the influence. Okay? She had used prior before that. So when she went to the doctors and an ambulance, my son was taken as well. Okay? But not from an ambulance and not from a cop, from a stranger. Okay?
Okay.
So
now,
when they tested her, they went and tested lab work. It came back that she had some cocaine in her system back when. Okay?
Now, that is a test that they did, right?
That's what they did. They're using that.
Okay. You have a right. You have a civil right or constitutional right to have your own doctor do his own test. The problem
Too late
is
now.
the
Just
test.
a
I
month ago.
well, I know. That's my whole problem about CPS. If I knew what I knew now, I never would have had my children taken. I never would have been in CPS if I knew what I knew now.
Right.
So what I'm trying to
So
do,
see, now they're
yeah,
trying to, so now what they're trying to do is they're trying to use me, Reese, go lay down, the dog. They're trying, like today I went to court with my attorney. They wanted me, all right, my girlfriend's in a rehab in California right now. I got her sent there. She needed it. I've been telling her for a while now. You know, I told her, if you don't stop doing drugs, I'm going to have to take my kids from you.
okay,
Her and her mother made false allegations, and she was charged for that, for making false allegations, saying, if you go make up this, you will, Israel wouldn't be able to take the kids for you doing drugs. She found out I went, you know, I was at a dead still. My girlfriend was bad. She lost 60 pounds. You know, she looked like shit. I thought she was going to die. Nobody was helping me anywhere I turned. So, you know, I knew she had my kid one day. I told them, you know, where she's going. I don't believe they're in best interest. I didn't know where to turn. So I asked the officers to go see if my son was at this house. And if so, please contact me. Okay?
all
They
right,
never found her. They did go to the house, but I cried wolf. So that happened before the accident. Well, the state and CPS now, after the accident, she opened a can of worms. But now CPS is trying to say, I went to some thing today. What do they call it?
a planning where the
what do
children
they call a thing?
it's
what?
a planning meeting where the children will stay.
Yeah, we've already done that.
You've already done that. Now, what
But
happened
we went
at
to
the
court for
planning
8
meeting?
months.
Why couldn't the children stay with you?
That's my point. They're saying I failed to protect the kids.
How did you fail to protect the kids because you allowed your girlfriend to
Because
take
I didn't
drugs?
Stop her. I didn't stop her from getting in an accident.
And what did your attorney say about that?
That's what they wanted me to plead guilty to today. My attorney told me do not plead guilty to that.
Oh,
If I would have pled guilty today, my son would have been coming back home.
No, that's a teaser. They will not send your son back home. First of all, your wife,
That's why I didn't
your wife
take him.
was
I didn't take the black
right.
man.
Your wife was driving, not you. And
That's right.
and they can't get you for not protecting you unless you knew that your wife was doing drugs. If you knew your wife was doing drugs,
I suspected she could be within the last year.
well,
I had said.
yeah, they're stretching the law. They're trying to make it. They're trying to get it because it's a money thing. It's a money thing what they're talking about. But the children should have been placed with you because you weren't at the accident. Furthermore, if she
They weren't
tested,
placed with me.
yeah, if she was tested at the hospital by that hospital's test, we don't know if that's a legitimate test or not. And especially if CPS orders
right.
it. If CPS orders the test for the drugs, it could be a bad false test. So that's why you always do a follow-up. She should have got a test from her own doctor to counter that test and see it. But she has a history of doing drugs. So it's hard for people to believe that she wasn't doing drugs the day she was driving. What did the police report put in the report about the accident?
There was nothing saying that she was on drugs.
No, but did they charge her with a traffic violation?
Nope.
So what happened?
No DUI, no OUI, no nothing.
Was she hit?
And that was 7 months ago.
Was she hit or someone hit her?
She hit somebody. My son was in the back seat.
Okay, now did he have a car seat?
Yes, he did.
All right. And how many children were we talking about? One child or many or several?
Well, I have a 4-year-old. Her son was 4 when I met her. But we have Israel, who's 8 today.
Okay, try
He's got
not
the
to
same
use
name as me.
use names.
Been taken from the state,
Yeah.
and he's in custody of the state now.
Right.
But that's what they're trying to do with Israel.
Okay, try not to use names. You can use the name of a 4-year-old or 8-year-old. So you have two
Sure.
children in your relationship, 2 children, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 4, 2 have grown up and out. Now 2.
All right.
There's now 2 women.
Right. So
one's in our home.
okay, so you have 2 there. Now, of these 2 children, were both of them in the car or one of them was?
1.
Okay, the one that was
The
in
other
the
one
car,
was me at home.
was the one in the car your child or her child from another relationship?
That's my child that was in her car.
Okay, so you and her have a child, so you both should be involved, which you are. The accident was investigated. The police did not write anybody at fault, but because she checks drugs, the doctor, the hospital has to call CPS. That's why CPS is involved. That's why they're involved.
Yep.
Now, CPS automatically says your wife is guilty because in the child protection system world, you're guilty till you're proven innocent. It isn't like all the other criminal criminal laws where you're innocent till you're proven guilty. But because it's CPS, so she's guilty. So what she should have done, and I know it's probably hindsight, she should immediately ask for another test. She should also not talk to them or say anything to the doctor or the child protection social worker, the system social worker, because anything she says they'll use against her.
That's right.
And so,
and that's what they've done.
Yeah. Now, when
they
took that,
they had a whole they call it a family meeting, a family planning. This has been going on 6-7 months.
Well, at first they have a hearing where they decide where the children's going to be with. What happened at that hearing? What happened at that hearing?
Well, that's what they call a family planning. They put us all together, and the kids were left to. At first, they had me take my kids from the home. After that, we had a meeting. We had a meeting on her to make sure she's doing good. You know, she had an attorney present. That attorney that she's had for 10 years told her not to speak. And I told her not to speak. Just like I told the CPS when they were questioning her. She has an attorney. He would advise her not to speak.
Right.
So they said, okay, but they scared her, making her think that her kids were going to be taken.
Oh, it's a con. It's a con artist. They are a con artist. They're special.
And that's what they did.
Yeah, and they make promises.
Skating, right?
They make promises they will not keep.
And I know that.
And they lie.
Now, here's the deal. Here in Maine, we have a thing called a Jeopardy hearing. Okay? Do you know what Jeopardy hearing is?
No, I do not.
Okay, it's like a hearing. Today was our first hearing. They let me take Bryson and Israel. The 4-year-old, the 4-year-old and the 14-year-old out of the home and go with me in my care and left her at home. She was alone. Okay? I brought the 4-year-old and 14-year-old with me, but the father of the 14-year-old, who's cost us $40,000 with CPS and DHS, and there's been proven facts, 4 judges involved, everything. He's done everything under the wind to try to get that kid taken, okay, and fight.
Right,
and
because
he's proven domestic assault, abuse, everything in that house.
Right.
And they will not let him go they would not let the 14-year-old go with him because of the fear that he is now, because he's 14, that he didn't want to go. So today they had a court matter. He went and got another attorney. So I don't know what happened because they're saying because I'm not blood, I have no say.
Right, that is true of your 4-year-old. I mean your 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And they got
they said this wasn't my house
now.
because it was in her name.
Right. Or they're going to try to say you're not the biological father of your 4-year-old unless you show them a birth certificate.
Oh, well, we all know that. He's got my last name and my name.
Doesn't make any difference. They're going to say that they're going to say you're prenuptial to the father. They do that all the time. It's automatic. They're trying to make you look bad. They're trying to make you look bad. Now,
so we both went to court today. I don't know what happened to her because I got her admitted to a hospital in California.
Well, what was the court hearing for? Was it for the case plan, or was it the court action where they request a protective order, or was it a hearing?
It was a jeopardy hearing against that father with the 14-year-old and with Crystal, but she was in rehab, so they had her do it over the computer.
She had a Zoom meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So
I don't know why the new attorney, the court appointed, had her doing a Zoom meeting where she's only been there. They call it a blackout of the first week. You're not supposed to be on the phone. You're not supposed to call. She can't even call me.
Well, first of all, if she's got a court-appointed attorney, you're going to lose your case. A court-appointed attorney.
That's what she did.
She doesn't. The court-appointed attorney is the worst attorney to have. They're hoping, CPS is hoping you have a court-appointed attorney for not only you, the adults, but also for the children, because they can manipulate the court-appointed attorneys. They are not schooled in the art of dependency law, family, or juvenile law. They're not schooled in that. They're only schooled in criminal law. They're brand new. They've only been past the bar very shortly. They're in cahoots with the judge and the social worker attorneys. They work for them. They will not make an effort to fight it because they're not paid very much, so they're not going to fight your case. I know it may be because of financial reasons you can't afford a bona fide attorney, but
we did. We paid $40,000 for the other attorney, but she couldn't pay him this time.
What do you mean?
So she got a court appointed. I thought when they went and they tried, now this is what happened, okay? Now we started doing these family planning meetings before this court date, and they wanted me to go in. And they said that they were going to try to get me on a jeopardy hearing. Okay? So they, at that meeting, they wanted me to take a piss test. And my lawyer was there present for what I'm paying for. And I told her, there's no way I'll bail. I've been clean for 15 years. There's no way. Okay? And they were telling me, well, you know, you need to take the test. And my lawyer says, you know, I don't know why he needs to take a test. You know, this ain't on him. We're not here because of him. We're here because
well, what they're doing, what Maine is doing, it's called a C2 hearing. And what it does, it determines if the child is in danger of harm or neglect. That's what a jeopardy hearing is. And when it happens, the hearing. Have you had a case management conference?
No. What do you mean?
Well, it says it happens. A hearing takes place after a case management conference within 120 days of the original child protection petition filed. Has a child protection been filed?
Child protection been filed. We just went to court today for the first time, 6 months later. We didn't hear nothing from the one who did all the investigations after they took the kids. We didn't hear nothing for 3 months. Well, I took the kids.
Well, that's 120 days. That's 120 days. They have 120 days.
Yeah.
See, they're supposed to do. Okay, did they determine there was abuse or neglect? Was it substantiated? Was it indicated or sustained? There's 3 ways: substantiated, indicated, or sustained.
Nope.
That's the assessment supposed to make. And then the CPS, the DHSS, the family agree that abuse or neglected is a problem. Did you agree that neglect, or abuse is the problem?
No, nothing.
Well, then the next step is if you did agree, they'll develop a case plan. Yeah.
Said no, I'm not
Have they developed a case plan?
They did, and that's something we were doing before this hearing today.
Well, if how could they do a case plan if you didn't agree that abuse or neglect is a problem?
I don't know. They did.
Wow.
They did it with all of our family there and everything.
Wow, they're not supposed to. I'm reading this. Okay, just so you know, I'm in Maine, and I'm in the child protection system that is called in Maine Department of Health, HHS, Health and Human Services. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and I use CPS all the time because so many different state counties have different things. So when I say CPS, I mean the DHHS. But it says there is that the family, if the family agrees that there is abuse or neglect, they'll develop a case plan. If you don't agree to it, what is your attorney do? Are you using a court-appointed attorney or a real attorney?
No, I bought mine. I paid for mine.
Okay, why is your attorney not talking about your case plan can't be? I mean, what is your attorney doing?
I don't know. That's my problem.
You're paying him 40 grand.
He told me.
40 grand.
He told me,
okay, 40 grand is a good fee. I can get you the best attorney in the country for 40 grand. And
that was over 8 years.
Yeah, it's like, I hate to say it. Is this attorney you got for 40 grand a dependency law attorney?
Oh, yeah, he's the best around.
Has he ever sued CPS in a civil lawsuit?
Not yet, but that's what I'm trying to do.
That's the attorney you need to get. Because if you have the attorney that's never sued and won, they're afraid of CPS. You see, most attorneys don't sue CPS for civil lawsuits because my attorney has sued and won millions of dollars both in state and federal cases. They don't like my attorney. If he goes up to Bakersfield, California, and he's in Arcadia, Bakersfield doesn't want him to show up because they know that he's a good attorney. He's in Oklahoma fighting a case right now. But the key to a good attorney is if they've done a lawsuit and won. Because if they haven't done one yet, I don't know. How long has this person been fighting CPS?
He's been fighting CPS for, like I said, since Bryson was 5 years old. We've seen 4 judges.
Well, I understand that. I don't mean how long has he been fighting in the world with all the cases? How many years of experience does he have?
20-something years.
Okay, well, if he has 20
cases,
then he or she should be doing their job. And I'm just reading it. I'm a lay person. I'm a family man. I've been doing this for 15 years. I too was in CPS. And the things that I'm reading you or getting from are found very easily on the internet. That's why I have my rule number 4, that you need to research the internet about your case. But it's very important that you word your question right. You always put the city and the state and the letters CPS, and then you type in your question, wherever it is about CPS.
I did that. Yeah. That's how I found you, Bob.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you found me. But right now, I'm going through the beginning steps. What I did is that I typed in my question, steps in CPS in Maine. That's what I did. And the first step is they give you the phone number to call for suspected abuse or neglect. And then they say the social worker will assess the allegations through interviews, contacting community professionals, and other method. The social worker will determine if the abuse or neglect is substantiated, indicated, or sustained. So I think they think it's substantiated because she neglected the child by having drugs, and supposedly the drugs in her system would impede her driving. That's how come that's how come the social workers are thinking that way. Then they have to do the next step, which is to develop a case plan. And part of the early plan is to have a hearing where the child's going to stay. Are they going to stay with a family member? Are they going to stay with a foster care home, a shelter, a group home, a single family home? where they're going to stay. So that's what they need to find out.
That's what we did.
And what was the place they decided that your child will stay at?
They said I could take my kids to my sister's house.
Okay.
With me.
All right. So what happened when you did that?
Didn't hear nothing for 3 months.
Well, that's because.
And then.
Wait a second.
They put a new caseworker on.
Okay. Did you have a hearing yet within writing, followed up in writing? Did you have a hearing?
You mean in front of a judge?
Yes.
Today, 7 months later, 6 months later.
Okay, that was a hearing. Now, what was the decision that they made?
I don't know what they did with her because she was on a Zoom with her court appointed. They
Well,
won't let me in.
The court will make the decision be sent to the family in writing, so they will send you in writing. If you haven't heard from them in a couple days, I would call them and say, could I have my hearing in writing, please? I need to know the decision. Then, this is real important with your attorney. You have to do an appeal. Okay, you have to do an appeal in Superior Court within 30 days of receiving the written.
Appeal in Superior Court?
Yes, with your attorney. He'll know what he's doing. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I'm reading the steps. If you get the decision in writing, you have to appeal the social worker's decision. And that's appealed in Superior Court.
Yep. Okay. Now, what about me, though, with Israel? Now, they took Israel. They let me have Israel at my sister's.
Okay, wait a second.
Then,
is that your 14-year-old?
That's my 4-year-old.
Okay, I don't want to say the names yet. The 8-year-old. Okay. Well, I thought he was 14. He's 8?
Israel's 8. Bryson's 14. Israel was 8 in the accident.
Wait. You got.
Didn't do Israel yet.
Okay, I'm confused. You have 3 children or 2 children?
2.
Okay, I thought one was 4 and one was 14. Are there 8 and 14 now?
No, one's 8. No, one's 8 and one's 18. One's 8 and one's 14. The one that's 14, I've raised since he was 40 years old.
Okay, but the father's come into the picture and wants that child.
He was in the picture at 6, and he's pulled every dirty stunt he could. That's why we got 40 grand into an attorney in the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And he hasn't got him.
Well, you better tell that attorney. Yeah, you better tell that attorney to do their job, because 40 grand is a lot of money, and it's a retainer fee.
Damn right.
And, you need to see an itemize of what they do. They should submit you monthly an itemized bill of what they do. And you need to monitor that. They do. You need to monitor that and question anything you don't like that's on there. Because, your case.
Because he had his kids taken from him too.
Okay, so he knows. All right. Now, so you just had the hearing today and you need a written decision. And right now, they wanted
me to plead guilty to not stopping her and not getting, and I had neglect from keeping my son safe with Israel, because I didn't keep the 8-year-old. He's 8 now.
Yeah.
He was 7 at the time.
Yeah.
I did. They're trying to say they want me to plead guilty to that today. And if I had pled guilty, that in the writing, it was saying that if I pled guilty, basically my son could come back home and there'd be a social work, and and myself have to test a random test from CPS, DHS. And they want me, and then if I had agreed to that, because they took my rights away about a month ago, 2 months ago, for no reason. So They let him go in my care. He was in my care for 4 or 5 months out to my sister's house. They wanted me to stop and go get an apartment, go get a place for me and my son. And I have a house with my she's my wife now. We got married last week. Okay? But they want me to take my son and go get a home somewhere. And they're saying where I come back to the house after 3 months, we didn't hear nothing from them for 3 months. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. So you know what? I knew my son couldn't be here. And it was 45 minutes for me to travel every day. So I let my sister and her husband watch Israel. So they're saying now that I want more to do with my wife than my son, and that's not the case. I wanted my wife to go into rehab and get help for the best of both of them kids. And that's what I did, and I got her in. They wanted her to go in front of the judge and say she wasn't doing good, she wasn't getting help, she kept messing up, and that's what they wanted to do today. But she was already in California. She's in California right now.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And they put her on a Zoom. But I wasn't allowed in that room with her and the father. But today, they put me, because I have a thing against me for Israel, because they're saying I neglected to keep him safe from the mother because of the car accident. And I knew about her doing drugs. No, I suspected that she does drugs.
Yeah.
She don't do drugs in the home. She don't do it around the kids. She takes off, goes out, does her thing, did her thing, and would come back. We were arguing for over a year about it. And then I told her, look, I'm going to end up taking the kids if you don't stop. I'm going to take my son, and I'm going to leave. Okay? And I did, and I did ask for help with the police to go find my son before this even took place, before the accident took place. You know, all these things, I did try doing those things. And they want me to admit to neglect and all that. And they're telling me I can't have my son. And I'm not admitting to something that it's false allegation. That's false. And I told you guys from day one, we had attorney, and you guys neglected and manipulated her. And you did it with her, but I haven't allowed you to do it with me. And that's what they tried doing today. They told me if I had admitted to neglect and not protecting my child, that I would get Israel back today, and I would have to agree that he could come back here at home. And under those terms, a social worker has to do a monthly visit, and I have to do tests, to random urinalysis tests. I take tests every month for the last 15 years, and never once have they been dirty.
Okay.
They had me do a test at one of those meetings that we had before the court date hearing today. And I told them, I said, I don't know why I got to take a test. They're like, because we have that case I went today on.
Okay.
Against you.
Right. I'm not meaning to have to cut this short here, but I do have to end my podcast. I've run over 3 minutes, and my podcast is only supposed to be an hour. So I would like to continue this tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock p.m. your time, if you can. If not, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is noon your time, if you can, because I do want to help you.
If I call 10 tonight, I'll call you 10 tonight.
Okay. Also, I've sent you a guide from Maine. It's in my comment sections in all the rooms. It's a link that'll get you to the guide for your child welfare for Maine. And I sent it to all my groups. It's repeated 7 times on the screen. You just have to pick up one of those. Do you see it?
I don't see it right now because I just lost the internet, but I will get on and find it.
Right. It's basically, it's at the maine.gov, and it's at the Department of HHS, the OCFS, and it's Support for Families, Child Welfare Guide to Child Welfare. It's an excellent guide there. So I'm going to I could still talk to you for a moment. I'm going to remove myself from the room so I can.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.